We as people always lose vision over time unless we're reminded of it and reminding ourselves of that vision well. Great leaders remember well and remind well. I want to take you to a very familiar passage. If you're in Christ today, you've probably read Acts chapter 2. There's a lot of verses I've heard preached and taught and just spoken on many different levels, but I want to take you to a really obscure verse that I think holds a super important leadership principle for us today. In Acts chapter 2, verse 29, this is what Peter says. Before I tell you what he said, just to set this up, so Jesus has revolutionized the face of humanity and every bit of existence. He has died, he has rose, he's paid for sins, he has offered salvation to the entire world, and now he's gone. He's ascended into heaven. Everyone's looking around saying, what do we do now? Peter has this incredible responsibility of explaining the answer to that question. Through all these familiar verses, we come to verse 29. He says, "Brothers, I may say to you with confidence about the patriarch David that he both died and was buried, and his tomb is with us to this day." You see, Peter could have just explained the present reality, but that wouldn't have carried near the impact compared to what he actually did. To explain the present reality, he bolstered confidence in this by pointing backwards to historical events that would resonate with his audience. So what does that mean for you and for me? That means as leaders, we must be aware of the fact that we need to be reminded of vision all the time. It's got to become a great habit in our leadership. We're always pointing backwards saying, remember when this happened and when that happened and when we actually accomplished this project and it went great. Or if you're a Christian, God came through for me in this moment. And we're always looking backwards so we can look forwards better together. The best indicator of future success is past progress. I almost said past success, but Thomas Edison would disagree with me. Let me remind you, he had 5,000 attempts at making a new invention, and he failed. But instead of failing, let's call that progress today. He was on the path to success, and every one of those 5,000 attempts he could have given up. But instead, he kept just going through and continued his work, and finally he revolutionized our electronic world by creating the electric light bulb in 1879. So where does this leave us today as leaders? First, celebrate success well. Celebrate success well. Celebrate every moment of progress, whether it's the end goal that's reached in that moment or not, because progress is going towards your goals. Secondly, circle back to great moments in order to motivate yourself and your team. We as a people are just forgetful. Every day before your feet hit the ground, before you even get out of bed, remind yourself of why you're even alive and awake and breathing. It's because you have a purpose. It's because the people that you lead have a purpose. And it's our job and our responsibility as leaders to circle back to great moments so that we can move forward together better. Finally, evaluate your leadership. Evaluate what? Make sure you're continually reminding people of greatness. I can't say it enough. We don't remember naturally. So it's a choice and a habit that we as leaders must choose in our personal lives and also in our leadership to remember well, to remind well, to celebrate well, to motivate well, so that as we go forward together, as we remind of greatness, we push forward into greatness together better.